Folly, you took to Strand Street last weekend to try and convince people to avoid eating turkey for Christmas this year. Why?
Well, if I can explain what state the turkeys are in when they're eaten, that would help. The Roslin Institute in Scotland found, when they took a batch of turkeys that had been designed for breeding, they found that they couldn't walk properly. On further investigation, they found that the birds were in pain and responded positively to pain relief. By dissection, in a kind of autopsy, they found that the hip joints of the birds were seriously damaged. There is a gristle layer in joints that cushions when you walk and stops bone grating on bone. It also means that the bones move fluidly, and this was damaged in the turkeys because of their weight, because they were bred to be that weight. Furthermore, the Roslin Institute studied the effect of cutting beaks. Very often turkey beaks can be cut to prevent aggression in the wild. Turkeys are not aggressive, but kept in small groups in sheds, they can become aggressive, and to stop them pecking one another, they cut the beak. The Roslin Institute found that the beaks are supplied with a nervous system pretty similar to teeth. If I cut a third off your tooth, you would know about it, and it's the same with turkeys. They are in constant chronic pain, both from their hips and from their beaks.
Are you talking here the mass production, or I mean...
This is all turkeys, even those
including free range?
Even those that are free range have to be bred, and when they're bred, the chicks have to be kept in a shed for up to 8 weeks because they haven't got the feathers. There's no one to keep them warm. They are in a shed with heaters. They're all bred to grow quickly. They're all bred to be a maximum size.
But the free-range ones, I'm sure, don't have beaks cut and that sort of thing, though.
No, unless they're the breeders. The free-range ones that will be used, the chicks that will ultimately be used to breed free-range turkeys, will have to have their beaks cut. So it depends on, it doesn't matter whether they're free range or not. The breeders will all have their beaks cut.
You were...
Didn't do that very well, did I?
No, fine. You were...
Do you want me to do it again?
No. You were in the high street. What sort of reaction did you get from people?
We got some that said, well done, thank you very much for doing this. I got one lady who shouted at me, you're not supposed to be giving this sort of thing to children. My niece was in tears over it. But I checked with the Advertising Standards Agency, and they told me that if a child is old enough to eat meat, then they're old enough to know where it comes from.
Is it interesting that you've come in on a day when a survey's come out? It shows that 42% of people apparently are going to steer clear of turkey this year at Christmas for their Christmas dinner.
Yes, I'm delighted about that. I just wish it were more.
1 in 10 perhaps going completely meat-free. Do you feel there's a move there against eating meat now?
Well, there should be. If you take cows, for example, they're bred so that their bodies are top-heavy, and when a cow lays down, after a very short while, its legs can go numb and the cow can have difficulty getting up. It has been known that farmers have come along with excavators, tractors, and tried to raise the cow to its feet. They've even beaten them and have been unable to get the cow to stand on its feet. So,
but this isn't all farmers. You're trying to paint everybody with the
no,
same
I'm not
brush,
saying
aren't
it's
you?
good. I mean, the fact that the cow's down, it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
A cow that's down is a dead cow, and the cow is attempting to save the cow's life by getting it onto its feet. So the excavator and the tractor is an attempt at life, not an attempt at cruelty. But what I'm saying is that the breeding of cows is such that their bodies are not really suitable for a normal life. It's the same with sheep. If you find a sheep on its back, very often the sheep will be a dead sheep in a short space of time. They can't get to their feet. They're like beetles. They can't rise to their feet by themselves. So breeding has really destroyed the natural life of turkeys, sheep, cows, most of the animals, and a lot of them, such as turkeys, are in great pain.
Without the Christmas demand, though, could turkey farming basically become obsolete?
Well, I hope it does. I think it's about time that the government recognised that with global warming and the fact that farming does increase the output of greenhouse gases by 18%, that farmers should be assisted, advised, perhaps given courses, perhaps given financial rewards for doing so, for moving from animal farming to plant farming.
But there's always, as long as there's a public demand for meat, people are going to produce meat, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, that's true. We often say that animals have no feelings, they have no emotions, they don't know what's going on, they're unintelligent. But we don't recognise this. It's ourselves that are failing to recognise that animals have feelings. They have feelings for their young, they have friendships with each other. They grieve when their babies are taken away from them. It's us who have no feeling because we seem unable to recognise that animals are sentient beings and feel pain, emotion, sorrow, sadness, grief, just as we do.